They had some that had to do with there's one that had to do with tidal pools. There's like stuff that has to do with dissection. There's stuff that has to do with light waves. It's it's just everything. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and so they bring in kids from like all over OC, I guess, come to this.
Uh-huh.
They're like grade school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's neat because you can go in and do all these. You go in and do all these experiments, and they learn about basically just about any science you can think of is about at this. Um, and of course, we were Star Wars for this. So Sean was uh, alone on the island, Luke, and I was Old Man Han.
Did you
And
call him Alone on the Island, Luke?
yes,
Yeah, I always call it How Long Must I Wait on This Island, Luke
yes.
Wow.
Skywalker.
I'm going to interrupt for a second and say that I missed Dawn when I was saying hi to
Oh,
people.
oh, hi,
So,
Dawn.
Okay.
hi, Dawn.
I don't.
I'm going to jump on and say that our Facebook stream is working on sci-fi.radio, but it is not working on my personal page for some reason.
Good
So
grief.
do not know why.
Weird.
And over we use Restream to throw these things around, and it's sitting there going sending data. And
Okay.
It very much does not want to connect to anything. Oh, but we're on YouTube again apparently.
Huh.
So
Tiger Antilles is here.
we're just hey Gregor, we're just like pounding our way into all of this stuff. So it'll be great.
It's like we've got one of those paper things that we're jumping through. Only we're family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Well, and this whole
Rose is here.
Right.
this whole
Yeah.
connection thing is like it's like trying to reroute power
there we
through
go.
the
That's how we
sublight
do it.
engines. So they were like, we've lost the main viewer.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, so Pat is watching on YouTube. So we got Pat.
Dawn, we didn't
Um,
show a picture of the puppy yet because
Sean's still trying to get
Sean's
this darn
fiddling.
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
I have been messing with it. Hang on, let me find my
Yeah.
my messenger here, and I'll show you.
Yeah. So,
what it is.
but STEM night was really cool. I mean, they didn't have us showing our cars, but yet one of the teachers there had their DeLorean
Yes,
displayed.
the DeLorean.
Yes, and it
Uh,
had the there's the pupper. That's Scratch. Um,
It was
and
an
oh,
unmodified DeLorean.
yeah, he just kind of stuck things in there.
Right.
Hey, there's a Gregor too. I see a Gregor's watching.
We usually put our cars on display, but I think we got replaced by food trucks on one end of things. I think we got replaced by an orchestra on one side of it, and then this DeLorean.
Yeah.
And we were talking to the guy with the DeLorean, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Where's your cars?" And we're like, "I don't know."
Yeah, I know. Like, well, in the parking lot.
Right.
Yeah. Rose. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Rose from Baldur's Gate. Yes. That they based it on the dog Scratch from Baldur's Gate.
Is that a
Okay.
game?
Yes.
It is a game. Yeah.
It's a D&D based on D&D,
It's-
or it is D&D.
Oh, yeah.
So, but I enjoy going to it. We just have as big of a turnout of Rebel Legion 51st, whatever, as we usually do, and there's more probably reasons for that, I guess, because it's a weeknight technically, and
Right.
maybe
Gregor has never displayed his car with us yet.
I know what the hell.
What's up with
Come
that?
on,
Heck, Gregor.
I mean,
Yeah.
admittedly, he's like 50 miles from the closest of us. He's 100
Yeah.
miles from us.
I don't know. He says he's going to get a food truck. That'd be a cool car to drive.
That's
Oh,
right.
see, there you go.
Only if it has a taco trebuchet where you can launch tacos out the top of it.
Yeah.
That's the only way.
The other thing we did, aside from doing STEM night, the following day in the morning we did an event that was for the sharing. Gosh darn it, I hate losing the darn name. Day of Sharing,
Yes.
and it was it was held at like a speech therapy school, such so by the Knights of Columbus. So I mean, one of the people I know from Disney that I was one of the guys. Reason why they got us all there was one of the Knights of Columbus is a friend of mine that I worked with at Disney when I was there.
Oh, right on.
So yeah,
Was that
and
Gary?
yes,
Nice.
yeah,
The
and so
Knights
yeah,
Kniggets of Columbus.
yes, and it was a neat little event. It was a little carnival, and the kids could go around all these little carnival games and win things. And
Well, and it was
that
specifically to support developmentally disabled kids and
yes.
adults, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, that
And
was
then
pretty cool.
they had a DJ playing music loudly. The Saber Guild was there. They did a little show.
Hmm.
And there was a photo booth that no one could find.
Because they shoved it way in the back. They're like, you should go stand by the photo booth and take pictures.
Yes.
And not
Yeah.
only was it shoved way in the back, it was turned like 40, like 90 degrees, so that it
Yeah.
was facing another wall. You
Yeah.
couldn't even see it standing
Yeah.
right in front of it. It was hysterical.
But you know, we still got the point. We still got what we needed done. It's like everyone. We Sean's car was on display, and like they
As a
came
last
around.
minute thing,
Yeah.
I had
Yeah.
to clean the week's worth of bugs off my car going to and from Texas.
Yeah. And they asked me if I wanted to as well, but I was like, well, because at noon I had to like book it out of there and get back
You
home
should have
to
done it
help
because
to
they
get
let me
ready.
go
But
pretty
yeah,
fast.
yeah,
I left it like 12:10.
yeah.
It was
But
not a
that's the
big
only
deal.
reason.
Yeah,
You know?
because I walked in and I'm like, dude, I'm the last guy here. You should let
Yeah,
me out. And he's like, sure, no problem.
yeah. And you know, the funny part was like, gotta get home at noon, and then I called. They're like, nobody's there. Uh, like they're like, just go get yourself some food and stuff. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
So I could have displayed anyway. I'm like, man,
I
yeah,
suppose.
yeah.
That's really funny.
But
It was a good event, though, and everybody there
I
was
did
super
like it. Yeah.
nice. And it
Hmm.
was their 44th event. Next year is
I guess.
45.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I was leaving, they're like, you have to come back, and you have to bring more
Hmm.
people, and you have to, because
Yeah.
it's 45. It's such a big deal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay.
I hope that well, Gary had an event we used to do an event for him as well on around Christmas. And it was for like kids whose parents had a parent that was incarcerated, so it was like a you know Toys for Tots sort of situation. We'd go there and take pictures or whatever. But
That's nice.
it was another thing where it was like um, they want us there for like whatever 2 hours or something, and I'm like, well, they're already done with us because it was not very large, not a very big thing, and so it's a hedging thing, much like the Christmas one, where it's like, okay, they're done in the first 30 minutes that we're there, they're all done with us. But
Right. Well, and there's a trick that happens with all this. Like everybody wants a little piece of you, and we're coming up on May the 4th, and things are just gonna be murder because
hmm
I think the Rebel Legion has something like 18 events in the slot. I think we've canceled 6 events,
yeah,
and I think we've had an additional like 20 to 30 events that people are still sending to us like a week
yeah,
away, right? It's absolutely nuts. And so I
yeah.
spent a good portion of my day. We're doing the Orange County Parade
Fourth, yeah,
next Saturday, not this
yeah,
coming Saturday, but the next Saturday on the 4th.
yeah.
And then I'm going to the Industrial Light and Magic thing,
Mm.
and which I am the only rebel going. They're and so what happened is the 501st said, "Oh, hey rebels, you can come too," and there was like one slot, and I'm
Nice
it. And so there's like
token.
one Mando, one Rebel, and 16
Yeah,
Imperial.
of course. Yeah, usually how that works.
And so that's what I'm doing in the evening. And then in the middle of the day, like I've had people vying for my time. And they're like, "Oh, please do this, please do that.
Oh boy.
Are you free? Are you?" And I'm like, "Ugh." And I finally
Yeah,
settled on something today,
yeah.
which is at
Well,
the
yeah.
Academy Museum for the Academy Awards museum, which is cool.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh,
Okay.
it's been nuts because it's sort of in between Orange County and Van Nuys.
Yeah.
I could drive right through there,
Yeah.
way in the middle of the day.
The I'm doing Anacon tomorrow on Saturday, so that's Anaheim Library.
Anacon, where
But
is that?
Anaheim Public Library.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So I'm doing that with the Ghostbusters. But
That's this coming Saturday. That's not May the 4th.
Yeah. This Saturday. The 4th we're doing the parade. And I don't know, not much else. I don't know if I'm doing anything else afterwards. But
What is Bob Gurr going to?
He'll be going to Anacon over at the Anaheim Library.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh, and Rose wanted me to mention something since I'm still talking. That Rose is decided to put together Old West Day to come and dress as an Old West style cowboy or whatever. And on excuse me, May 19th at Irvine Park. I think they're going to do it over at the little western town by the train.
Oh, is there a western town? Because I'm like, we were just in the park. We just did an event in the park.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be able to go. We might not be able to make it.
That weekend I might be at a funeral. My stepdad's funeral is that weekend, and I haven't decided if we're driving to Arizona yet or not.
Gotcha. I understand, man.
Yep,
I understand.
We will see. I'll keep everybody posted.
Yeah.
So that was Saturday. Sunday, we all went to an Enchanted Forest picnic, which was a CGW event, and we all dressed up like fairies or hobbits or fairy trappers, fairy hunters.
Yeah.
Sean was a fairy hunter.
Yeah. Well, probably a trapper. I don't exactly kill them. So
I just meant to hunt them, to find them. I wasn't thinking that you were going to pin them on a butterfly board.
I should find a picture of us. Hold on.
Do you want me to give you one?
I was going to Costumers Guild West to...
you could just go to my page.
Look it up. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no. Well, because Amy. Posted them. So Amy's page, actually.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So the picnic was in Irvine Park?
Irvine Park. Yeah.
And we did potluck style, which CGW usually everybody brings their own picnic and is very much on their own little blanket. And so it was really nice to do potluck style, I thought.
Okay.
It made it a little bit easier. And if I had known that in advance, I probably wouldn't have stressed out so much. But we had a small group, and it was fun.
Yeah.
I made
totally
an asparagus tart and cucumber sandwiches and a lemon bliss bundt cake. And Owen brought teas and other beverages and cheese and crackers.
So the woman who organized this is in the middle of this picture in the purple, and she didn't really have anything fantasy oriented, so she made a dress based on like a postcard.
A Victorian postcard.
Yeah, it was really pretty.
So
neat.
she has a Victorian replica costume on.
I completely cheated, and I just jammed a whole bunch of other costumes together. I'm wearing like my drover's coat. I've got my War Doctor bandolier. I've got Kyber crystals in my bandolier. I've got a sonic screwdriver.
Oh, you can't see your little fairy lantern.
I think
it's behind Jeff's head.
Yeah, I think it's in another picture.
Oh, in another picture, yeah.
We'll have to take a look because I know Jeff and I
look like I'm having a wardrobe malfunction there.
No, you're just channeling Elvira. It's cool.
Right.
We're all fine here now.
Doing that.
But Colleen had like big fairy
butterfly wings.
Yeah, which were cool.
And Amy had little fairy wings. Who else had fairy wings? Amy and Kelly did.
Yeah, I think it was Kelly. So yeah, you can kind of see that I have a lantern with Tinkerbell in it at the top of my net. But I think I have a better picture of it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, they were my fairy wings, my butterfly wings.
Yeah,
I
they
threw
worked
one
out
in
really
the
well.
I threw one I took in the chat where I fiddled with all the colors
Oh.
Oh,
in
of
our
us.
Facebook chat.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just of your coat and lantern.
Yeah, but you can't really see the lantern still. I mean,
Ah,
you kind of
really?
can, but you can't see the details on it that make it so cool.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, yeah, I was looking for one. We can actually see one if I can get to
If I zoom in on it,
my
probably.
the picture I posted.
I'm glad
Yeah.
you like the cake roast.
Yeah.
Oh shoot, where am I here?
So after we
Oh.
had our picnic, we packed up everything, and then the whole group of us walked over to the Orange County Zoo, which is
Mhm.
you guys have probably heard us talk about the zoo before because we do a Star Wars event there usually every year. The
Yeah.
guys, of course, more often than me. But we walked around the zoo and saw all the rescue animals and
And we do a Star Wars event at this zoo, and so the head of education for the zoo wasn't there, and so we taunted her with this picture.
Yeah.
Jeff and I standing by the exit going, "We're in your zoo," which was funny. And you can kind of see in the corner here that I've got my little
Yeah, the
lantern
lantern.
with
yeah,
thing.
Tinkerbell.
Tink.
It's actually pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
just a Disneyland thing, but her little wings fluttered. It was kind of
Mm.
nicely done.
Yeah.
The zoo is only $2 to get in.
Yep,
It's more
exactly.
expensive to get into the park. I think it's
Yeah. $5 for the
five
park
bucks to get into the park, and then
on the
it's
weekend.
$2 per person to get into the zoo.
Yeah.
And the zoo isn't overwhelming at all. They're all rescue animals, like
Mhm.
animals that came too close to the public or
Injured
got
or
injured or something like that. So,
Yeah.
and there are lions and there are no tigers. There are bears.
There
are panthers.
are panthers,
Lions and panthers
Yeah.
and bears.
Yeah.
And condors and
Yep.
eagles.
eagles and they have a scavenger hunt that you can do where you go and you find the animals, and somebody pointed out that I wasn't looking at the animals, I was just doing the scavenger hunt.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah, but that's
my
that's
gosh.
what Colleen does at things like that.
Yeah.
It's like if you take Colleen to a museum, she starts
Yeah.
looking at everything in the museum, and then she looks at every other thing, and then she looks at every fourth thing, and then she comes back to me, who's really slow, and she's like,
Yeah.
"I'll see you in the gift shop
Yeah.
or in the
Oh,
cafe."
I
Oh,
see an
wow.
Andrew. Andrew is watching.
Woo!
Hey,
Short,
Andrew.
short trooper.
Excellent.
Um.
I was, I
Yeah.
I was thinking about Andrew the other day because he actually got this really sweet job doing props, and I noticed that there's a scavenger hunt that's going on right now at Disneyland, and I was curious if he had made the props for that, which was kind of cool. So
Yeah. We need to see if Andrew can get us back into because I guess Roberta can't because somebody's not working anymore. But the
back to
the
Minnie's Moonlit Madness.
yes,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because I was talking to somebody actually at Gallifrey who was like, "You guys," we were talking about Disney. He's like, "Man, you know so much about Disney." I'm like, "I'm there a lot." He's like, "Well, I work there, and I don't know that much." And then we were talking about minis and how much fun it was, and he's like, "You have to be on our team." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that would be an interesting experience because we've
Oh.
never played it. We've only helped run it."
and
I like Andrew's
and
response. Maybe.
maybe. Oh, and the outfit I wore was sort of like, what if a hobbit wore boots? And that's kind of the outfit I was going with.
Yeah,
So,
you were a very tall hobbit.
yeah,
Right.
it was like my Han Solo boots and nifty pants I like, and like pirate shirt, and then this vest from the what you call it, the chimney sweep. That's the vest I wear for the chimney sweep
Right.
and stuff. So it was just conglomeration. That's normally what I end up doing for this.
I would like to have, but this would mean I would have to, somehow figure out how to make it. I'd like to have a Gimli costume. I feel
Uh-huh.
as a shorter guy that a dwarf costume would be appropriate somehow.
Oh yeah.
And I have I have a picture of me in a Gimli costume that we did for a music video, and I kind of like it. It kind of worked out really really well.
Okay.
And so
I
I'm
mean,
like, I should do this.
yeah. I mean, you could easily get like a cosplay Sky version, but I would think you'd probably want to get close to the original material cut and look.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like it to be a little more, just a little more on the realistic side.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I should find the Gimli picture. It shouldn't be
Yeah.
that hard to find.
There is a company, and I don't remember the name of the darn company, but one of the channels I watch, which is Nerd of the Rings,
Mm-hmm.
he's been getting a lot of these things, like what was it? This like Glamdring, the sword Glamdring, and
Right.
then he's got he's got Gimli's helmet. This one company makes all these things. They look amazing.
This was the Gimli costume. I turned his axe into a guitar for the music video, and it was actually sort of cool. Like I could totally do that, and that's not my nose, by the way. That's makeup. I'm wearing a fake nose.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see that it's me in there somewhere. But it's kind of fun, yeah. And I really like the way that the guitar came out. It was like this really cool.
That's awesome.
It's Gimli's axe, right? It's an electric guitar. It was totally awesome. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I could stand to do a good costume like
That'd be
that.
cool. Yeah, I don't know which one I would do from Lord of the Rings if I was actually going to do one. I don't know. Aragorn, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out.
Gregor says he could toss me. That's probably true. That's probably true.
Probably.
Wow. All right. Are we? Oh, Sean ran out yesterday and grabbed some blue milk for us.
Yeah, we're catching up with Jeff.
Right.
We finally got it.
And
You got it.
You know what I had to do is I had to go on Instacart, and I had
Oh, that's how you got it?
I had to figure out where Instacart was getting it from. Yeah, and that's how I found it at Smart and Final, because we don't have any Stater Brothers around us. And so so we got it.
Oh,
I
that's
haven't
right.
tried
Yours
it
is
yet.
ways away. Yeah,
It's,
I imagine it's supposed to get
And
a wider
It's
release.
vanilla-y.
I served it when I gave Sean the milk. I poured the milk out and I gave him a dish with a couple of ube cookies in them
Yeah, these little guys.
because ube cookies were served on the Halcyon.
Right.
And if you
Neato.
it doesn't look like much there, but if you bite into it, it's purple.
Oh, okay.
And so Sean will show you
yeah.
how
I guess
it
the
looks.
Target out by Gregor has them.
Yeah,
And-
some of the Targets.
The ube cookies are available at Trader Joe's.
Super purple.
Nice.
And
That's cool.
someone is asking if the blue milk is better than Disney's. It's entirely different.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah.
It's totally different, Andrew.
It's like if you had Nestle's strawberry milk, but it was vanilla flavored instead of
Yeah.
And
strawberry.
And I'll tell you what
Exactly.
it tastes like me, kind of.
It tastes like cereal milk.
It tastes a little bit like
Yes.
like tapioca to me.
Yeah.
Does it?
When I drink it, it was like it tastes like a carnation mix or something, you know,
Well, it tastes like
like powdered.
like
mixed
milk that was in with Lucky Charms or something that has blue pebbles or marshmallows or something in
in.
it.
Yeah. So not like a fruity flavor like the Galaxy's Edge.
No.
Yeah, I
uh-uh.
wouldn't, and I also wouldn't like. I don't know. I wouldn't buy it again. Really?
Yeah, it's fun to
I
try,
like-
but
I like the Batu one better.
Yeah, I
same here.
I like the not calamari,
Toydarian swirl.
the Toydarian swirl. Yeah.
There's a Moncal swirl,
That'd be-
and there's a Toydarian swirl.
That'd be interesting. Ugh.
Gross.
Tastes fishy.
Yeah. The Toydarian swirl has like mango flavored syrup in it.
Maybe it's the Moncala swirl that we like.
Does the squid one turn
Okay, the
black when you drink
Moncala
it?
squirrel. Yes, it does.
I'm trying to get the picture to show up. I think this is the Moncal swirl.
Is that the one that's greenish? Or is that a different color? Oh, I see. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's made with the blue milk, and then the Toydarian
It has
swirl.
an overall. Someone's saying in a review that it has the overall taste of sour mango, tart yet refreshing. Yeah, and it's got these jelly cubes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
But
I don't. The plain blue or the plain green, I don't. They're okay. They're refreshing.
Well, yeah.
But
I mean,
That's the
I guess-
Toydarian swirl.
yeah, I love that one. That one's good.
And that one. That
oh
one
no,
has
I don't like the
pepper
Toydarian
in it.
swirl.
it's like spicy. So
Yeah,
I
it's
love it.
really spicy.
I mean, yeah, I guess because you're a Disneyland Gregor, but it's a little more of a complex. I mean, I like some drinks that are a little more complex, and that's what these are.
But it's
the
not
blue
just
milk,
that
it's just blue milk.
It's not that it's more complex. It's not the same at all.
Exactly.
That we bought from, the moo cow blue milk. It is a milk, like, it's like milk. It's what I expected when I first went to the milk bar at Disneyland.
Right.
But what they've got at the milk bar at Disneyland are fruit smoothies.
Yes.
And one of them's green and one of them's blue.
Right. One of them definitely has a mango flavor, which I think is the blue one with a bit of a coconut. And then the other one has like a dragon fruit flavor.
I don't feel like I can really taste the flavors that much. I feel like they're so
blended
muted
with a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, and I think they have like rice milk or something in them.
And the article I looked up those pictures on is so basic. It's like it says this. It says the Moncala swirl was a beverage made from blue milk found on the planet Batu.
Yeah.
And
There you go, guys.
that's all. Like no other. I'm like, seriously, that's where you stop.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
you know.
Anyway, it would be fun for a Star Wars night to have the blue milk if you can find it with the ube cookies.
Yeah.
So go to either Smart and Final or where did you get it, Jeff?
Oh, the blue milk.
Yeah.
I have a
Stater Brothers
near me.
Yeah.
So
And
either
they might even have that Target too, depending.
Yeah, Target has it. I know some people who've been finding it there.
Walmart.
Yeah, so
And go to Trader Joe's for the ube cookies.
the quick description of the Moncala swirl, because that other page on like Wikipedia was just too lame. Blue milk with blue mango sour jellies, topped with a sour shimmery mango gel.
Yeah, those are good.
That's what the Moncala swirl was. And
Wait a minute.
Wikipedia too lazy to cut and paste from that. It's like you
Day off
dummies.
tomorrow. Wait
Right.
a minute.
Let's see. Let's go ahead and talk about... Oh, you know what? Sean and I did do one more thing that we forgot to talk about. We went to a lecture on Tuesday night. We went to the Culver City Historical Society. They had a free lecture on the 100th anniversary of MGM Studios. And what they did is they put up a drawing of a map of the studios as it was back when it was MGM. It's Sony now.
Oh, okay.
And then they basically just like kind of walked you through each of the buildings and what.
Oh,
Yeah, all of the
What was in the
neighborhoods
buildings.
that were there, and when they got put in, and yeah, it was pretty kind of cool. And so much of that stuff is completely gone.
back when they had a back lot? you mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
the black back lot is completely gone, and they had 6 of them, and now they're down to like one. And one of the back lots is now where that stepped pyramid building is, across from the sort of eastern
where our credit
entrance.
union used to be.
Whoops! Hey,
Oh,
what's
that's different.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So the only thing is that it was a little bit long to sit in such a crowded room.
Yeah, they needed to take a break between their speakers, because they had 2 guys talking about a book that they wrote in the whole history of the backlot, and they had another guy who talked about the star hierarchy system.
And what they didn't really leave time for, which is totally unfortunate, is that they had 2 guests who were sitting in the front row. And one of them was born in 1924 And she got a job at Warner Brothers when she was, not Warner Brothers, MGM, when she was, what was it? She was 18 when she got a job there?
I think she was 16.
And she worked there up until 2005 with
least.
a 15-year break that she worked somewhere else. And then she came back and she was there for until at least 2005 when MGM was sold to
I'm not even
Turner.
sure that she worked somewhere else. I think she just worked for a different guy.
Oh, you're
there.
right. She might have said that. Yeah.
Basically, she started as a messenger. And the reason she got a messenger job on the lot is because all of the guys got called into service, or guys were upping for service because of World War II. And so a lot of women came into the studio, which MGM was like really good about anyway, because they're like, women are awesome. Come on in. And so she got this job as a messenger, and then she ended up as an administrative assistant to somebody pretty high up on the food chain. And then there's sort of a gap in her explanation, but she was talking at the end of how she was there working in the admin office when Ted Turner took over MGM.
Oh.
And they had to explain to Ted Turner what he just bought. Because he basically came in and he's like, what do I have? And they're like, well, you have this cartoon department, you have this film production department, you have this library, this and that and the other thing. Because Turner just kind of went, I know what MGM is, let's buy it. Which is like, and she was also there as they were starting to colorize movies. That was like the last job she had, was sort of organize the colorization of things, because nobody was watching their classic movies. And so they went, oh, let's make them color for the modern generation, kind of a deal.
Yeah.
And so she was there for the beginning of that before she retired.
Break out the crayons.
But I wish they would have let her talk more.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to, like, they could have stretched this event over 2 separate nights and had plenty of material.
Yeah, and especially this one. She's 99 years old.
Oh, man.
And the other woman didn't even get to talk. The other woman was a child actress at MGM, and they had a picture of her with
Clara Bow, I think.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't think it was Clara, but I thought it was Helen Hayes.
Could have been Helen Hayes. What was the name of the woman?
It was Clara something. I think that's why you're getting confused.
Was like,
I think it was Claire.
Clara Sue.
Yeah, it was something Sue. I could look it up. If Jeff wants to start talking about birthdays, Star Wars birthdays.
Star Wars. Okay. Okay. Well, the first one is April 24th, 1933. That's when Claire Davenport was born. If you don't know who that is, she was the rather gifted lady dancing around in the Jabba's palace. She had a lot of.
She was the Gargan, right?
She had a lot of extra tops, if you want to.
Right. She had the multiple bikini tops.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Oh,
and then of course.
And let me jump in real quick right here. It's Cora Sue Collins.
Yeah, and the picture that you were talking about, Sean, was Jean Harlow.
Oh, Jean Harlow.
And May Robson, but May Robson isn't as well known to most of us. But everybody knows Jean Harlow.
Oh, gotcha. And Claire actually has an 88 acting credit, so she's not just the gal in Return of the Jedi. So
you said 88?
98.
98. Holy cow.
98. Yes. So good gravy. It's not really all like sci-fi fantasy stuff. This is a lot of television, and I mean, her first credit was something called Bulldog Breed, some TV series. She played an Iron Lady. But and Doctor Who, of course. It wasn't Doctor Who.
Well, everybody in England
1964, but yeah.
Doctor Who.
So a very large amount of a very good number. That's pretty darn good.
Sweet.
Yeah. Birthday number 2, if I can find the thingy. April 22nd, 1939. That's when Mark Jones was born. And to be honest, I'm not sure what he played in Empire Strikes Back, other than it says Imperial Officer
That's a little vague.
Yeah, it's like, thanks, guys. But of course, he has 55 acting credits, of one of which is, of course, Red Dwarf. Woo!
What
But
did he do in Red Dwarf?
he played Canary. I don't know what that means.
Canary?
Yes, like the bird.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weird.
I imagine that
Yeah.
was something that Kat was chasing after.
Right.
probably. Yeah. And of course, Doctor Who. He was on that, and
Everyone was in Doctor Who.
his first credit was barman in Meet Sexton Blake, and of course he was in MASH, but I think this was the movie, but it just says undetermined role. So extra, I guess. I don't know.
He was just a guy in the background, or maybe he was on the football team, or there's
Yeah.
like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I'm
It's-
gonna have to look him up on the find him on the other one.
He has so many vague roles: imperial officer, policeman, cook, lawyer. It's just
So yeah, let's see if it tells. It might tell us in the if it ever loads the Wikipedia. Let's see. Yeah, I think he actually has a line. I mean, on the bridge, and he says something to the captain. He played Commander Nimitz.
Nimitz.
So Commander Nimitz. So and he was like he says something about to the captain or whatever his name was.
Is he the guy who complains about the bounty hunters? Wow, I can't even.
I don't think so.
How do you spell Nimitz?
Oh, Nemet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Oops, Control copy. I'll put the link that I found.
Oh,
and you can look at it.
He's the guy who is talking to Nita about the cloaking device when the
there you
Vulcan
go.
disappears.
Yeah.
There's no trace of them, sir.
Yeah. So that was him.
Right on.
Yeah.
Okay, now we know who he is.
Yeah, and Red Dwarf apparently too. I already mentioned that. Never mind. Anyway, yeah, and then we're gonna roll on over to names. Done with that. History. God, April 25th, 1979. That's when Boba Fett and Darth Vader made a private appearance at the Bib Company.
Because they drool a lot and they need.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Yeah.
They're actually a manufacturing company, and they did fabric goods and stuff, like home goods, and so they did like towels and sheets and bedspreads and things like that. And so, as a licensee, they probably made a visit to the offices so that people were like, "Oh, Star Wars, yeah, we know that."
Exactly. Then we have April 21st, 2005, and that's when Celebration 3 started up in Indianapolis.
Hey.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
We went there.
Yeah.
We did. We drove there. We along with the Deacons and their Millennium Falcon car.
Yeah.
Man,
that's pretty. Yeah.
There is only one. There's only one girl left from that crowd that we traveled with.
Oh,
Everyone else
my
has
gosh.
passed away.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. It's really a bummer.
Yeah.
Something about that family, man.
Lastly, we have April 23rd, 2010. That's when Boba Fett made his Clone Wars debut in the cartoon.
All
voiced
Boba Fett, all the time.
Voiced by Daniel Logan. So there you go.
Cool.
All right.
So Kid Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Okay.
That's it for that.
Daisy Ridley says that Rey in New Jedi Order game is really strange. Is it a game?
What, a game?
It is a game, right?
The New Jedi Order, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it is.
I think.
It is a movie.
I mean, I guess that's what
That's what they're calling her movie, The New Jedi Order?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She spoke to Total Film about her preparation for the new Star Wars movie, playing Rey with an older mindset than where she was at age 22 filming The Force Awakens. I honestly have had moments when I'm like, I don't know if I remember what I did as Rey. It's really strange.
That's really funny.
She feels like everything will feel very different and with a different team, and she's in a different place. And so she's going to be one of the adults. She was the youngest person on set before. So it's not that the movie is weird necessarily. It's just that she feels out of place.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
She says she doesn't know whether it's going to feel natural or feel like an adventure, and she's hoping it's a bit of both.
I imagine it will be. But yeah, so she's kind of stepping into the Carrie Fisher role where everybody thought, like when she was there, Carrie Fisher sort of like took the lead as the old hand and gave her all the information about what was going to happen to her life being in a Star Wars movie. And
I guess she's going to have to be the
and
old
now
hand.
she's going to be that voice of experience.
I think she's going to handle it a bit differently.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, and especially how social media really just sort of bails on people now. It's going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But I'm glad she's coming back.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I think it'll be good.
So moving on to theme parks. Disneyland is bringing a railroad tour. So now you can go on the Lily Bell and get a guided tour around the park.
Which is funny because, so Colleen and I have had the opportunity to ride on the Lily Bell exactly once. And when we did, there was a guide in there with a bunch of people who was basically giving a tour from the train. And he was new, and he ran through his trivia really fast. And so, like, by the time we left New Orleans Square, he's like, well, I'm all out of stuff to tell you. So, what do you want to know? And he just answered questions from those guys, the whole thing. So they've done this before, it seems. And, we were fortunate enough that we didn't have to pay for the privilege.
Yeah, I think they had a couple of extra seats, and so they let us. A cast member let us.
Yeah, our friend got us on board.
Yeah.
Because we'd been talking about the train. You had mentioned it was your favorite thing. He was working in this was before Galaxy's Edge, and where he works now. But he was working in the Disneyana store, and he's like, "Don't go anywhere." And he vanished, and he came back with like 2 tickets, and he's like, "Here you go. You should be here at 5:00."
It was amazing.
It was super cool. Yeah.
Nice.
So the new tour starts you out with a beverage and a pastry. And then you walk through the park hearing stories about how Walt came up with all things train for the park.
Okay.
And then they take you to the Disneyland Park Roundhouse.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's really fun. And it's I guess you get to learn about the monorail and the trains. So I'm guessing the monorail uses the same roundhouse.
They sort of
if
combine
that's
them
possible.
Yeah.
And then you go into the Lily Bell, and then I think that's it. And then they give you a keepsake, which they don't say what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a ticket, because when we went on the Lily Bell, they gave us a ticket.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I do not know how much it's going to cost yet. I'm not saying. And there is another tour that started at the same time. Like, they announced this tour and another one, and the other one was less exciting to me, so I didn't write that one down.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, and that's kind of interesting. If you do the like the 5Ks, the Disney 5Ks, they often walk you past the roundhouse.
Yeah.
During the 5Ks.
Where is the roundhouse?
Backstage.
It's back behind Toontown, I think.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let me think.
All right. Well,
Kind of, yeah. I think it's actually a little more like behind, say, Small World in a sense, but it's more like if you if you go on the train and just as you pass Small World and you're going into Tomorrowland,
Mm-hmm.
it'll be on your left. I mean, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's on your left.
There is a YouTube video available. It's a 3-minute video called The Sights and Sounds of Sustainability at Disney, and it goes over waste management, materials, water emissions, and sustainable design.
Yeah.
So kind of an interesting video if you have
Yeah.
the cross section of care for the planet and love of Disney. Go ahead and watch that.
Yeah.
And if you have been to the Disney store online, the Shop Disney store, you will find many items from the Halcyon on sale there, many wardrobe items.
Right, wardrobe items have finally.
Okay.
They don't have jewelry, they don't have any of the glasses or anything like that are coming out. I understand to some of the physical locations in Florida, but at Shop Disney, you can get a Padme Amidala cloak for adults or children. You can get a Princess Leia dress, a formal tunic, a couple of Bail Organa pieces, tunics for both children and adults. You can get a couple of different sizes of gloves. And for kids, you can get a Twi'lek headpiece, which is on sale for $40.
Neato.
And there's also a where's the other headpiece? Oh, here it is. The Togruta headpiece for kids is also $40.
Oh, okay. That's neat.
And they've also got a Star Wars mechanic jumpsuit for kids, $45, and a Star Wars captain jacket for kids at $40. So
That's neat.
if I had a Disney Star Wars kid, I would definitely take advantage of this sale.
Man. No adults.
I've been doing a little bit of research into where the Roundhouse was and is because it got demolished for Galaxy's Edge.
Oh.
And so basically the line that you stand in for Rise of the Resistance is where they used to work on the trains in the northwest corner of the lot.
Yes. Yeah.
I have a question from the audience wanting to know.
Andrew.
Yeah, it's Shop Disney is where you can buy the
Oh.
Halcyon.
It's called DisneyStore.com now. They changed it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the and from what I remember, the train and the monorail were actually at separate buildings. They had one of them when I worked there. The monorail was actually called the Mono Shed. They called it.
Right.
It's where they kept the monorails, and the Roundhouse was a separate building. But when they long ago they combined them together, I guess when they were making Galaxy's Edge and everything else.
Yeah, and so now I'm trying to figure out exactly where they are.
Well, they're basically where the mono shed used to be. So it's literally when you just as you go into Tomorrowland on the train, it's over on your left.
Yeah, I was.
You just can't really see it because stuff's in the way.
Good
but yeah.
picture. Well, and there's a whole bunch of trains over there that sort of like sit there. They can work on them out in the open.
Oh yeah. Circle D Ranch and Big Thunder Barbecue and all that was part of that was which is gone now, was now part of Galaxy's Edge. Yeah, exactly, Andrew. Because they moved all the horses, they're off site. They're like in Norco, I think. So yeah, ones that kept anyway.
Okay.
Cool.
Moving right along.
Well, before you do, let me jump in and remind you guys that you are listening to Sci-Fi.radio, Sci-Fi for your Wi-Fi, which is working just swimmingly over there. You could also be watching us on YouTube or on Twitch. We don't seem to be on my personal Facebook page, which is usually where an awful lot of people watch the stream, and I don't exactly know what's happening. It's really weird because it's just sitting there, and sending data and it's not connecting. We are over on the sci-fi.radio page. That is working. And YouTube is finally up and working too. So if you're watching us on any of those, say hi.
Yeah. Woohoo!
I'm Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby.
This is just a little.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
And Kit Boba-Kit Sovine does all of our cool social media posts during the week on Docking Bay 94 Facebook page, and also does our control document for us, so we have stuff to talk about. So there you go.
Cool.
Exactly.
Okay, last theme park item is we have a May the 4th or Season of the Force foodie guide. It is for all of the parks that have a Star Wars presence, I believe. Oh no, Japan might not be on here. They have a Star Wars presence.
So MGM and Disneyland.
They're not calling it MGM anymore, Jeff.
It's Disney Hollywood Studios.
Yeah,
was
whatever.
like, are we going
Same
back to
difference.
the lecture from Tuesday? What?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't remember. I kind of feel like we might have talked about this before.
Probably.
I don't. There's not anything that I look at it and I say, oh my gosh, when I'm at Disneyland coming up, there's nothing that I'm going, I have to get that.
Need to get that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like lightsaber churros, stuff like that.
Yeah, although it was funny before the show, I was like, oh, what are these cookies? They're actually Darth Vader and Stormtrooper waffles with sugar or chocolate hazelnut topping, and it says they're currently available, and I'm looking in the background of where they're holding it up, and I'm going, where is that?
Yeah.
And it says Disneyland Park at the top of the screen that I'm looking at. And then I scroll up a tiny bit, and it says Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
Disneyland Park in Disneyland Paris. Whoops. We don't have the Stormtrooper waffles here.
Boo.
The Jabba popcorn bucket would be fun. No, yes. I just have nowhere to put it.
It's very cute. And yeah, I have, again, I don't know what I would do with it. But, I like that he gets grumpy with you when you open his mouth.
They've got the torpedo pie back at Katsaka's Kettle. I like that.
Torpedo pie?
It's curry spiced triangular little hand pies.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have them in the freezer.
I thought the samosa
Trader
thing.
Joe's. Samosas.
Yeah,
They're samosas.
I thought that they had like the Tatooine hand pie or something.
Yeah.
They're ridiculously expensive for what you get, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Rude.
It's really hard right now because you already know that you're going to pay a theme park price for something, so you're like, okay, I tack on X amount of money for a theme park price, but then you take the post-COVID, shipping problems,
Right. Supply chain issues,
and companies just never brought their prices back down because they didn't have to.
They don't have to.
So you've got like 20% extra for that and 20% extra for the theme park pricing, and everything's really, really, really expensive.
I do not remember the Destron, whatever it's pronounced, ice cap. I don't remember that. Whatever that is. That's what Andrew's talking about. Something that used to be there, but I guess they don't have it this year.
Oh, no, it's right here. It is, at Ronto Roasters. They have Destron Ice Cap, Sprite and kiwi syrup with sweet cream cheese. And it's non-alcoholic, and it says it's new, and it's not available until May 4th. It's available May 4th through August 22nd. So Andy has the opportunity to get it in the future.
Yeah,
I'm not a huge fan of the sweet cream cheese topping.
Yeah, they seem to be all in on that, and not so much.
Yeah, but I like it better than the thing where they said they were going to put cereal on one of the drinks, and it turned out to be candy, or the other way around. They said it was going to be candy and it was cereal.
They said it was going to be cereal. Yeah. They called it cereal. It was in the name,
Yeah.
and it was not serious because it looked like they were going to do like Fruity Pebbles or something. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, little
I mean,
rice
'cause, like,
cereal, whatever. And then it
yeah,
turned out to be Nerds candy.
Andy,
yeah,
I
'cause
think
if
the
you,
reason why I didn't like the cream cheese topping was because we didn't mix it at all, and it was just a little bit warm on top, so it was kind of
Yeah.
weird.
yeah,
While we're talking about Season of the Force stuff, I will bring up that they're now entering the second level of the Season of the Force. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll show you real quick. If you go to Tomorrowland and you go to the Star Trader, you can get one of these cards. And the idea is that you're supposed to go around and fill out the information based on these little canisters they're actually lanterns from like Harbor Freight, and but they're painted up. They have letters on them. And in Tomorrowland, there are 6 different signs that you're supposed to find, and they have the decipher key on them, so that when you look at them, it's got like usually a letter and a number. And when you figured those out, then you write them down. They give you a pencil, and there's a word that you figure out. And then they tell you where they're located in the park. So they give you this little map, and with a number key. Although I'll warn you, some of these are really tough to find. Some of them are not where they say they are on the map, and they're not easily accessible. I had to use my phone for at least one of them to zoom in to see what the heck was going on. But when you do it, you finish it, you can take it back to Tomorrowland, and they give you a card. And so this was the card that they give you. So little Chewbacca card with a decipher key on the back for Aurebesh, which is kind of reminds me of the old Indiana Jones cards. And these are standard trading card size. And so Chewie's done. They've gone to C-3PO this week, and they did it about a week late. So they're something's going on. They had to drag their feet. But so Sunday when we go, maybe Colleen and I'll grab one of these and go do it.
I want to play that game.
Yeah, it was kind of fun, and a little confusing. And I found myself trying to help other people because they're like, we don't know what we're doing. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We had a pretty good time trying to track down these little canisters with the letters on them, and they're color coded to the signs in Galaxy's Edge, and then there are colored spots that you fill in the letters with. So yeah, if you find yourself at Disneyland during the Season of the Force and you want something weird to do, just go into the Star Trader. I went in and I got mine from the first counter on the left in the corner where the Star Wars stuff is on display.
Oh, okay.
So that's where we picked ours up at. I went with Judy. Excuse me.
Was there height?
I mean to sneeze on you guys.
Sean, you want to take the next section?
Surely. Let me see if I can go find where I have it open. No, I guess not. Let me just open it again. I still can't figure out why we're not broadcasting on Facebook on our own account. It's so weird.
Yeah, no idea.
I've restarted it. I've done all sorts of stuff. Just a couple in comparison to last week where we had this massive thing. Mandisa, who is an American Idol star and a faith singer who has won Grammys for their faith songs, died at the age of 47. Seems a little bit young to me. But got started in American Idol. She was living in Nashville, and they found her passed away. No cause of death or anything, but the Christian radio network that plays her is trying to get more information and stuff. So
Gotcha.
sad to hear about her. That, and then John Trimble passed away. He will forever be best known as the the man who, along with his wife, Bijo, who usually gets most of the fanfare for this, got Star Trek back on the air by mounting a letter writing campaign during the original run of Star Trek. They had canceled the show. People were very upset. John's like, we ought to do something. And Bijo's like, we should write letters. And that was that. Everybody started writing letters, got Star Trek back for one more season, which was just enough to get the show into syndication. They just made the episode cutoff for that. And because of that, Star Trek is still a thing. Because if Star Trek had never gone into syndication, people wouldn't have continued to watch it, and Star Trek fandom would have been this tight little group of people who managed to see it first run and talked about how epic it was, and we never saw it, and didn't have movies, didn't have anything, really, because of that. John and Biju also did lots of SCA events and things like that, and Colleen and Jeff and I have all worked with John at Minnie's Moonlit Madness. He was part of part of the team, and we saw him every year when we did that. Sat and ate with them at McDonald's and did a bunch of stuff.
I don't remember.
Super nice people, really great. John was also a veteran, and he was always at science fiction conventions. He was a mover and shaker in the SCA. Really terrific guy, and really very sad to hear of his passing. It was one of those things that if you were paying attention on Facebook, you kind of knew was coming, because he was in pretty rough shape of lately. And if you go to sci-fi.radio, which is the URL for our station, we have an article up there from Susan McDonald that covers his whole life, his contributions to fandom and everything, and his passing at the age of 87.
All right, Jeff, you want to start the speed round?
Sure. I'm going to talk about something that is going to be hard for me to watch. So Ron Howard is behind making this documentary. It's coming to Disney Plus at the end of May, and I watched when I saw the trailer. I was already having trouble just getting through the damn trailer, crying, because it's it's a documentary of Jim Henson. It's Jim Henson Idea Man, and it was it's a lot of interviews and archival footage and old clips from old shows and whatnot. So, but yeah, I was already having trouble just getting through the dang trailer. I'm like, oh, now with this movie, I'm gonna be bawling my eyes out the entire time.
Yeah, well, and so Ron Howard is behind it, and of course he's got a great touch for stuff like that, and Jim Henson will forever be one of those people, even though he wasn't hot and flashy like Marilyn Monroe, or a dark and brooding guy like James Dean. He's going to be one of those people that has unfilled potential. We lost him too early over the most idiotic thing ever. All he had to do was go to the doctor. Didn't want to do it because he was busy. And, so much creativity lost so quickly. And to have his whole career kind of poured together into a special like this is really pretty cool, because it's so diverse. And we forget about the early stuff that he did and all the weirdness in favor of the Muppet movies, which everybody's like, the Muppet movies. Oh, yeah. We totally know that.
But earlier appearances and such long before that. So that'll be... And it looks like a lot of backstage things as well. That'll be nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, which is really cool. Yeah. There's a lot of personal family stuff, which is really cool. Yeah. And, of course, they talk with just about everybody who's still around that he worked with, which is terrific. And they, Frank Oz and Jennifer Connelly and just all the folks. Brian Henson's there, and all of the people who are... working with him over time. And we had Muppet guys talking which was really
Yes.
cool. But it didn't really cover a lot of stuff with Jim.
No.
And this is, I'm really excited by
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I think this will be pretty great.
I'm going to reach into something that was from a previous week's show.
I
And
forgot
we
all
may.
about that stuff.
It occurs to me that we. I'm sorry.
I forgot all about that stuff.
Well, we had something on our show from last week that
Yeah.
that we didn't talk about, and there's a possibility that we like pre-talked about it before it happened, but they had the auction for the Mark Davis and Alice Davis auction items from Disney. They were Imagineers, and they have made a video called The Art of Disneyland featuring Mark and Alice Davis. And it's a preview of the theme park auction and exhibit. So if you haven't had a chance to go to one of these previews where you go in person and see the Disneyland memorabilia that's up for sale, there's an hour-long video where they go through this particular one of these. And I'll put that up for you. Sean, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, let's see here. The Deadpool and Wolverine trailer came out. It's the second trailer for the movie. We will warn you now, it is not safe for work. You probably don't want to watch it at work. You probably don't even want to watch it around the kids.
Or
That's why I
around the
watched it,
Colleen.
Right. No, I mean, it's mostly language.
Okay.
But, you don't want to have either one of them yelling out F-bombs in your office place. So it looks pretty cool. And there are a ton of really neat Easter eggs throughout the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is they show the villain of the piece walking out of their fortress. And if you look carefully, their fortress is Ant-Man in the form of Giant Man, who has died. And so they raise his helmet, and his skull is there, and she walks out of his skull. It's kind of crazy. There's all sorts of stuff in there. If you were a comics fiend, you will absolutely love. And Jeff's favorite, I assume, and mine too, is the Rob Liefeld Easter egg, where there's like a slow motion walk of Wolverine and Deadpool as they come out and they round the corner, and the shop in the background says Liefeld's Just Feet. And if you know anything about Rob Liefeld, you know that he cannot draw feet at all. He is like the worst at feet. He doesn't like drawing feet. And
it was amazing.
It's awesome. And somebody else was saying that the store actually needed to be next to another thing that was just like Pouches R Us, because he always puts pouches on everything.
Yep.
Would have been really great. So it looks absolutely amazing, and I think that
it looks hysterical.
I don't know if you guys saw this, but Lisa pointed out that it really depends on the workplace.
It does, yeah. Well, and most of us work from home now.
I mean, honestly, I probably could have played something with a lot of swearing at it at my workplace, and the only raised eyebrows would have been that I was the person that was playing it.
Right. Well, no, what would have happened is people would have come over, and they would have said, "What are you watching?"
Yeah.
And joined in.
Right.
Which is nuts.
Yeah. I watched it at my work, so,
Jeff, what do you want to talk about?
I don't think anyone was there at the time.
You're in the basement, Jeff.
That's a one-story building now. What do you mean? Another trailer. So this is the game trailer, Tales of the Shire, and it looks really fun. It looks. I'm watching after I watched it and such, and it reminds me of things of like between of like the My Sims game for like it was called like. I think it was called My Sims. It was like a little kid version of The Sims.
Right.
Exactly what it was called, and like say like Animal Crossing or something, but in uh, the Middle Earth, um, and it's not going after orcs and Sauron and the Ring or stuff. This is just doing things that are in and around the Shire, I guess, and you're doing tasks and whatnot.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Like
and
getting
it
ready
looks
for a
like
birthday party?
yeah, I imagine so. And Gandalf's there at one point, so he's probably like a quest giver and such.
That might be a
But
fun
that yeah,
thing.
the trailer it's a first look. Well, it's a trailer that's sort of also a first look at what the game looks like, but it may not necessarily be the finished product of the game. But it looks very um, sort of like artwork instead of like anime
It's
normal
very what they
game.
call painterly.
Yes.
So Lisa says that cozy gaming is huge right now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like I should maybe look into that because I've never been much into gaming,
Yeah.
but I like cozy books.
Well, and
So,
Yeah.
this is like wandering the Shire, doing some
Hmm.
gardening, fishing, hanging out, tending your wardrobe. And
Yeah.
it is done by Weta, who, of course, are the de facto experts on Hobbiton. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's all of the Lord of the Rings stuff without all the fighty bits, which
oh, yeah,
is,
man, I
is
need to do
really
that.
kind of
Yeah.
interesting. And so I think you, Colleen, are very much a hobbit at heart. You like to stay home.
Saying,
You like good food. You just want to hang out with people and like take it real chill.
All right, I'm
Not
totally
be,
a hobbit.
Not be around crowds. Yeah, I mean, so basically, I think you'd probably get a kick out of it, like in exactly the way that you were not interested in Pokemon Go.
I don't remember why I wasn't interested in Pokemon Go.
Because it was a lot of running around catching monsters and fighting people
Oh, yeah.
with the monsters.
That's what it was.
and
Probably
that's not you.
I
at all.
honestly, Lisa says that that I could get into Stardew Valley or
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Which are the
My
same, except
Aunt plays Animal Crossing
Yeah.
like
Um,
24/7.
well, now she's doing
Yeah.
Link though.
The other game was
She
the-
goes back
I-
and forth between Animal Crossing and what is the game that Link comes from?
Legend of
Oh,
Zelda.
Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, she plays like all of the Legends of Zelda games.
Yeah. Okay.
But so whenever I go to my aunt's house, I always am listening to the music of those two games almost constantly.
Yeah. See, even Andrew. So the other game I was mentioning that it seems a lot like is called it's called My Sims Kingdom, and it's literally it's just like aimed at younger kids, but it's totally like you go around and building you go around making stuff and building things for whatever character or whatever you have to do.
Cool.
Yeah. So it reminds me of that too.
Yeah, so we're talking about Stardew Valley over here in the chat. So Stardew Valley, I didn't really know much about it until somebody asked me to officiate a Stardew Valley wedding. And so I went to the wedding as Mayor Lewis to officiate the wedding, and everybody came dressed as Stardew characters. So I had to do this crash course on it and write a ceremony that involved like Stardew Valley, and you can get married in the game. And so I had to like look into that, find out, like, it was really very fascinating. Really great couple, and they were very fun. And it was their whole wedding was themed after Stardew Valley.
So this Stardew Valley, I just looked it up,
Yeah.
and it just looks like that farming game from Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, it's got that,
A little.
that kind of thing. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty
Yeah.
then.
And, seasons happen, and you interact with other people, and your relationships go up and down, and you get clout in the community, and it's kind of interesting.
It also has fantasy violence and use of alcohol.
Woohoo!
So it's got that going for it.
All right. Someone was asking, Messy 10. It was an actual real wedding with real people in a location in costume. So like Mayor Lewis has a driving cap and a yellow tie and suspenders, and so yeah. So although I didn't wear his purple
Oh,
shorts. So.
Genio.
Oh, hey, right on. Yeah,
You're
so
watching on here. Oh, wow.
yeah,
Cool.
a lot of the weddings I do are kind of themed weddings, and so yeah, so I
Awesome, dude.
officiated. I looked at the character and I got clothes as close as I could, and that's how we did it. It was great.
Did you show a picture that I missed, John?
No, mm-mm.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have one. I don't have
All right.
And apparently there's combat. So, yeah.
All
one.
right.
And fantasy drinking.
Yes.
What kind of nerds have a themed
I
wedding?
I don't
quote
even.
Lisa.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Serious topic. Switch here. Madison made her first comic appearance, but not where you think.
Yes.
Madison
jeez.
from She-Hulk, right?
Right.
No,
Yeah. No.
not because it was friends with Woo. It was.
Yeah, it
friends.
was She-Hulk,
She was
but not-
friends. Right. Right. Woo was in She-Hulk, and Madison was in She-Hulk, but hanging out with Woo.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's showing up in a comic book, but it's not a
Wow.
Doctor Strange or a She-Hulk comic.
Yeah.
It is What If Venom #3.
Yeah. Wongers.
So
Cool.
I need to go back and watch that.
This is so funny.
There's in the article where they talk about this comic book, they have a section here called Madison in the MCU Explained.
Wow.
So freaking awesome.
Right. Sean?
So Tom Holland might play Spider-Man, but he just doesn't have the Peter tingle really to get that to work, and so he got
Right then.
he got pulled over. He and Zendaya were going to a spin class, and apparently it was Tom's spin class, and they got pulled over, and it was Zendaya said that they got out of the ticket when they recognized that it was in fact Peter Parker in the car, and they were going fast, they were running late, got pulled over, and they just got a warning because they went, oh, well, it's Spider-Man, we can't really give Spider-Man a ticket. So celebrity has its privileges. This was a problem back in the day when Jack Webb was doing the Adam 12 thing, because they kept running into so many people who became cops because of both Dragnet and Adam 12 that the Adam 12 guys would get pulled over, and they're like, man, I can't give you a ticket. and like Martin Milner and Kent McCord are like, no, if I deserve a ticket, you need to give it to me. And the cops are like, no, you don't deserve a ticket. It's a warning. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a warning. They're like, we can't. You're our heroes. We can't give you a ticket.
So I want Lisa to just be on the show because she's got all the on-point comments tonight.
Oh yeah.
She says that's some refreshingly low-level celebrity crime.
Yeah, exactly.
Refreshing.
And it's it's great. I mean, because people are always in huge trouble. Like Weinstein they just like threw his case out of court or something for rape.
Yeah.
And it's like, look.
Yeah.
And getting out of a speeding ticket on your way to a spin class, that's real basic.
Yeah. Jeff?
So there's a little bit of casting news that I didn't know about, and I'll put it here. Nathan Fillion. So what happened? There was I'll just read what Nathan's saying, because he's talking about something that James Gunn told him, and he said we were actually at the premiere party of after Suicide Squad, and he was in a huge crowd of people. We saw each other in the crowd. I congratulated him. He said, "Oh my God, that was amazing! It's so great." And he goes, "Hey, did Peter Safran tell you what we've got for you next?" And I said, "No, he hasn't said." He looked around like someone was going to be listening. We were in a throng of people, but he leaned over and said, "You're going to be Guy Gardner."
Nice.
So yeah, so in the Superman movie, Nathan Fillion will be Green Lantern.
That was going to be my question, like which Green Lantern?
Yes.
He would be great as Guy Gardner.
Yes.
I'm there for it.
and he wanted to do it because this character has a whole bunch of flaws. That's really what he's most excited about.
Well, and of course he's going to be better than Ryan Reynolds.
I mean, that's not a big hurdle.
Right. It's not a high bar. Not a high bar.
I want to talk about someone being sent to prison. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, who was the armorer for the movie Rust,
Oh yeah.
was sentenced to 18 months in prison.
Right. And an armorer, in
boy.
case you don't know, on a film set means the person who handles all the weaponry.
Yeah.
It's different than the prop guy, and they're the specialists. And her dad is a huge guy in movies.
In the industry, yeah.
Yeah, and
prop guy. Or
Yeah.
armorer. She was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter after loading a prop gun that killed the movie's cinematographer, Helena Hutchins.
yeah. And so you said 16 months?
18 months.
18 months.
18 months
So a
for
year and a half.
involuntary manslaughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, it's rough. They insist on finishing the film, but I believe that any profits from the film are actually attached to the cinematographer's family. There's been like a penalty injunction or something that if the movie makes money, they get money.
Interesting because the judge said that Hannah had not expressed accountability for the accidental death. So that's probably why she got 18 months.
Yeah, and that's a big thing where, I mean, look, regardless of what you feel in your heart about this kind of thing, you have to show contrition, you've got to show remorse, you have to let people know someone lost their life. And whether you think it was your fault or not, you can't get past that. And you've got to acknowledge that. And on some level, you've got to feel bad about that.
You kind of have to wonder if in this case it wasn't the end result of nepotism. Like maybe she got the job because of her dad.
Well, she probably got the job based on his reputation and that she had been working with him for years. But I mean, there are so many things that could have happened with this, everything from carelessness to sabotage. I mean, there's so many possibilities here that, the gun should not have had live ammo anywhere near it. And then, accidents happen like on The Crow, where they had been using the gun for insert shots where they were putting dummy bullets in, and one of the bullets got stuck and they didn't notice. And so when they fired the blank, it just fired the bullet like any other gun.
Yeah.
And that's what killed Brandon Lee. I mean, stuff happens. We were just talking about Nathan Fillion, and I'm really glad that on their cop show, even though they've got a fair amount of gunplay, they're doing it all digitally now. They're basically running around with guns yelling bang. And in post-production, they're adding all the muzzle flashes and all that kind of stuff, which is easy to do.
Yeah.
And a lot less dangerous.
In these modern days, yeah. And there was a guy that Colleen and I knew back in the day. He's the guy I got my Indiana Jones gun from, which is a rental. It's a 99-year rental, even though I'm pretty sure Roger, the guy we got it from, has passed away and isn't going to want it back. But he had this terrific prototype for a thing that came out of the ideas of the old Logan's Run guns, which were the deep sleep guns shot a flare of gas. And so they had a neat muzzle flash, but they didn't actually shoot any kind of projectile, and they just worked on little CO2 gas tubes of the kind that you would use on a brazier or something. And so he came up with this way to retrofit guns to have this gas muzzle flash. No projectile, nothing could be shot out of it, ever. And it looked amazing, and he could not sell it to the film industry. Too much trouble, they thought it was too expensive, yada, yada, yada. And it was really too bad, because it was very clever, and it was exactly the sort of thing that they should have put into use with weaponry on sets.
To save lives.
Yeah, exactly so.
her father apparently tried to start a GoFundMe to raise the money for her
Defense.
defense.
Yeah.
And it was shut down because it's against the law.
Oh, really?
I don't know if it's against the law or if it's against the GoFundMe rules.
I
Gotcha.
just as a side note here, if anybody listening has donated to the Muppet Car, I ran into a really weird problem with GoFundMe recently, where they said that my bank account was not authenticated after having sent $5,000 to us that we bought a car with.
Yeah.
They said that the bank account wasn't authenticated and they were going to refund all the money back. And so I think they refunded money back to people until the account was empty. And so I think it's at zero or like a penny or a dollar or whatever they will let it get to.
Yeah.
And so somebody sent me a message going, they just refunded this money to us.
Yeah.
So if that happened to you, I'm really, really sorry. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with them because I've been trying to talk to a human for months and there's no human to talk to. It's all done online and no one is responding to me. And I have re-entered all the bank account information. I've revalidated. I've done everything I possibly could. It's absolutely nuts. So I don't know what's going on. We're still doing the project. We're not canceling it. And if you got your money back, I'm really sorry. And it's not a thing that we initiated. We're not canceling the project. We're still doing the project. We still want to make it happen. But maybe GoFundMe isn't the place to do it. Because I cannot figure out what's happening with them, and they won't tell me, and there's no human beings to talk to. And every time I send an email or I submit something through their support program, they're like, "Thank you for choosing this automated venue. If you want to hear from a person, send one to this email address." And it's like a never-ending loop because each email address says it's not a real email address.
Oh, joy.
So anyway, just to let you guys know, I'm really freaked out about it. It's been bugging me for like a week, and I looked at the bank account. The bank account's like at 0.01 cents or something. It's really crazy. But like I said, we'd already bought the car. It's here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what's happening, but maybe we're going to have to leave GoFundMe for greener pastures because if they're just going to give me this grief, we can't operate like this. We'll never get the project done. So so apologies and thanks, and we'll figure it out from there.
Sean, do you have another topic you want to
I do. One of the things that we talked about, I feel very much like People Magazine tonight with all the celebrity stuff. We had Nathan Fillion and stuff. Christina Hendricks. Sorry guys, Christina Hendricks is off the market. She was married for a while. She got divorced, but she's been going out with George Bianchini for quite a while, and he is, as I remember, a cameraman, and they've been together for quite a while, and so she's on her second marriage from New Orleans, and apparently very, very. Very excited, very thrilled to be married. And we mentioned earlier that I officiate weddings. Their wedding was officiated by Shirley Manson from the band Garbage.
Wow.
So that, and so Shirley said, went to the state of Louisiana and got my license as an officiant in New Orleans. She says, wedded two beautiful people who were madly in love, and it all felt romantic and right. From here on out, you can refer to me as Minister Manson, as that is my official title. I am available for further hire, but I am grotesquely expensive. Anyway, they then did a second line march through New Orleans. You've seen them do them for funerals and stuff. They do them for weddings too. It was really cool. Anyway, they're just super happy, and that's very cool because we like Christina Hendricks, and we want her to be happy.
Nice.
He is, in fact, a camera operator. You're correct.
And they did what we did, where like they got married by committee. They got engaged by committee, and they're like, "Should we get married? I guess we should get married."
Right. Okay, Jeff.
Yep. Earlier this year, Queen there was they released a digitally remastered version of Queen Rock Montreal. It was a 1981 live concert, and that actually remastered. So yeah, it's like a documentary of sorts too. Is coming to Disney Plus on May 15th. So yeah, and I think it says it will debut. It says it will debut alongside various Marvel features with IMAX enhanced sound and such. So yeah, um, that'll be cool because I don't think I've ever actually seen that. I've seen one of a couple of the other concerts, but I had not seen that one.
I was just reading a thing about Queen and an early concert that they were doing in the early 70s, before they were playing giant venues. They came to LA, and the Santa Monica Civic Auditorium, they did a lot of concerts there. Kind of smallish
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
And they do the vintage clothing shows, or did, out of there. I'm not sure it's still standing.
Oh,
But the Jane Weedland from the Go-Go's was writing up her experiences as a young punk in the early 70s, and, blowing off high school and going to Hollywood and being crazy and weird. And so she's like, we went to see this really cool band called Queen, and
mm,
I was standing there goofing off with this older guy, some total silver fox who offered me a joint. And it took me about 15 minutes to realize it was Tony Curtis.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really pretty funny. She was very excited about it.
that's amazing.
This weekend in downtown LA at LA Live, there will be Pizza City Fest 2.
Woo!
So looks fun, but I remember hearing that Pizza Fest 1, oh my God, it's $125 to get in.
That's a lot for pizza. Did they
Yeah.
did they give you free pizza for that price?
Well, it's not free. You just paid $125 for it.
All
But
right.
yes, I believe pizza is included, and
It
salad
better
and
be.
dessert.
I
All
would
right.
hope so.
And
Good
there are some
gravy.
panels as well. They have a list of participating pizzerias. But to be honest, I recall hearing about a pizza fest in the past. I won't say that it was last year's. Maybe it was something that happened previously. But I remember people reporting back that they felt it was a ripoff because they got a very small amount of pizza. Although it looks like there's a big bunch of participating pizza places. But
Okay.
still, for $125, I would want a good chunk of that to go to charity,
Right. Well,
which
and
it does not appear to
and
be
I
doing.
I can't eat. I don't like going to buffets. Not that I don't like buffets. I think they're just fine. I don't like going because I can't eat that much. And like I can't eat $160 worth of pizza.
It's $125
Or
worth of
125.
pizza.
I can't eat that much
Right.
pizza. And they're not going to let me take it home. I'm sure.
There's no way
Yeah.
that I could eat 100. What even is $125
I don't know.
And I mean, like,
Yeah.
Slice and Pint is one of the places on the list.
Sure.
I just go over to Slice and Pint,
Right, exactly.
get some pizza, and it's
Well,
gonna
and
cost me like $30.
you and I get a pizza, Colleen, and we'll get like a medium, maybe a large, and we eat off like a large. We eat off of for like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, if we get a medium at Domino's, it will be 2 full meals for us.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like dinner and then lunch.
And
the
a
next
large
day.
will be like 4
It's
meals.
like 4 meals. Yeah,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
and I love pizza, but not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Sean, what do you want to talk about?
Well, I had to buy a car in the middle of COVID because my Nissan 350Z had a meltdown. Its engine melted, which is a real drag. And so we took the first car that I liked that came along, which was the Genesis. But I was always kind of bummed that I didn't get a Tesla. And there were a couple that had kind of come
Oh, boy.
by, but they just weren't really, really great. Her Hertz is now having to sell their entire Tesla fleet because nobody wants to rent electric cars, it turns out, because they're just too inconvenient. You want to get in, you want to drive, you want to drop it off, you want to do whatever. Whereas you don't want to get it, take it, drive it somewhere, and then have to charge it up and then come back.
Yeah.
So they're getting rid of their fleet super cheap, which is...
Are they selling it to the Anaheim Police Department?
They are not.
Because they've got 6 new Tesla police vehicles.
No, they are not. They are not. But they're selling them for like $20,000 to $25,000.
Wow.
Unless you want a Tesla X, in which case it's like $79,000. But if you want like a Model 3 or a Y or something like that, it's like $20,000 to $25,000, which is pretty good. And this is on top of, so that's a big hit that Tesla took, and also Polestar is another company that they were going to buy a whole bunch of trucks from. They have rescinded that order. So Hertz rental car is like getting out of the electric car business just a couple of months after they got a bunch of praise from the government, going, yes, early adopters, you guys are awesome. And then a couple months later, Hertz is like, no. So on top of this, which is a pretty big hit for Tesla from a PR standpoint, they have recalled their whole fleet of Cybertrucks, nearly 4,000 Cybertrucks, which is the big, blocky, low polygon DeLorean-looking truck that you've been seeing on the roads lately. And it's a defect with the accelerator where it can get stuck when you push the accelerator, which is not a good look for a car.
Oh man, it's like a Corolla.
Yeah, it's a real problem. And and so at least it's like, don't insult the DeLorean like that. It's stainless steel. They obviously took their cues from the DeLorean, but it
Mega Force.
It looks like they didn't spend any money on the polygons for it. No. So this is different. And so Tesla usually prides itself in like, oh, we have a recall. We're going to do it as an over-the-air update, whatever. No, this is a physical repair. You're going to have to take your car in and get it fixed. And so the company doesn't tell you how many cars it sells. They don't make a lot of their information public. So having them say, we have sold nearly 4,000 Cybertrucks kind of gives you a look into it. But Tesla has had layoffs. They cut prices, and people are balking at the $56 billion pay package that Elon Musk is supposed to get. Yeah. Good grief. Tesla is not responding to requests for information.
Yeah. You can't send your truck to a car wash either.
Yeah, but,
right.
Well, there is a car wash mode, but some poor guy, man, he went through the car wash. I assume he put it in car wash mode, and then it went home and it died, and he had to reset it, and it took 6 hours to reset, and then it mostly worked after it reset. This is not a good look for the car of the future, I gotta say. Yeah, it's just
the future.
Cars in space, which might have been the last good Tesla. They launched one into space, and that's probably the last good one.
Yeah, that's the only good one on there.
And don't get me wrong, I would love to have a hybrid or an EV if I could afford it. I just can't afford it.
Well, 20,000 is not too bad now.
Right. If I want a Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
But I already spent my 20,000 on on the G-Wing. So
yeah.
Jeff.
Okay. Comedy Central. Huh?
It's
Comedy Central has granted a 10-episode series for a animated comedy, obviously animated adaptation of a beloved game. If you remember Golden Axe from Sega,
I do.
They're doing an animated series based on that, the comedy version.
I hope it's comedy, because honestly, there was no story to Golden Axe at all.
Yeah. I remember that game. It was a fun game, but it was just a side-scrolling, fantasy adventure game.
It was what we called a time waster, because it didn't have a story. You didn't accomplish anything. You just kept fighting and fighting and fighting until you ran out of quarters.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi is going to be the new principal of Nevermore Academy, featured in Wednesday for season 2.
Is he going to
Ooh.
walk in a ball cap with a skateboard? Go, hello, fellow kids.
Yes, he is.
I hope
Entirely.
so.
Right.
I love Steve Buscemi,
I
so
do too.
Yeah.
He's
I
amazing.
am happy by this.
And Steve Buscemi gets the short end of the stick all the time because people are like, you know who we should get? A Steve Buscemi kind of guy.
And then they don't hire him.
And then they do not hire him. Yeah, it's pretty terrible.
God,
Yeah.
grief. It's like, come on, he's right there.
I know, right? Who else
Right.
looks like that? Nobody looks like that but Steve Buscemi.
Sean?
I have a thing that's not on our list. My next door neighbor, Dustin, and I have
Yeah.
been drooling over lot number 1 from a cool auction that's going on from a company that went out of business. There was a company called Deviation Games, which were a bunch of guys who had spun off from working on Call of Duty for Activision.
Okay.
They started their own company. It lasts just under 3 years. They were in El Segundo, and they're getting rid of all of their stuff. And a lot of it is like standing desks and office chairs and that kind of thing. But the one thing that they expect, and they keep extending this this auction, because the one thing they think is going to be the best thing, and it's up to $2,700 now, and they want like 16,000 for it. Is what they're saying it's worth. It is a 1978 game from Atari that is the sit-down Star Wars arcade game from back in the day.
What?
It
Yeah.
has been modified so that it also plays the Empire Strikes Back game, because they were both vector graphic games. So you can play both of those games in it. But it is the sit-down cockpit console version. It is in amazing shape. We were going to go check it out today, but since they extended this thing, they didn't have their viewing today. But it's in El Segundo. It's like 2 miles from here. And we were going to go check it out, and it looks absolutely brilliant. It looks original, and but you know, you don't want to buy anything like that without playing it. So hopefully we can go down and check it out. And I used to work on these, so my neighbor's like, I've been giving him the history of it, and he's like, "How do you know so much?" I'm like, "Because I used to work on these." And so I want to go down and check it out and authenticate it and make sure it's a real deal and not a you know. One of the one-up games that has been modified into the sit-down thing, because they reissued the machine for one of the one-up things with a small screen and whatever. So, but yeah, currently it's gone up to $2,750, and they have had a fair number of bids on it, and we're drooling over it. It looks super, super cool. And although it's also kind of weird, because here's a company that just folded. It got rid of like 100 and some odd people, and you know, people are trying to go back to Sony and wherever they came from to start this new company. It's that always is sort of creepy that they only lasted like 3 years. Didn't even produce a game. But then they also didn't tell you what they were working on either, so you couldn't get excited about any game they were working on.
Excuse me.
So,
Gotcha.
Deviation Games, rest in peace.
Jeff, you have one more?
Yes, I do. So Rebel Moon, part 2, I guess, has come out. I don't know. I haven't really watched the first or the second one. But apparently, Netflix has not said anything about the third movie. Hasn't been greenlit or anything. Parts 1 and 2 were actually they were part of the deal, the franchise to start. That's why there's 2 of them that got made right away.
Right.
So that's really the only reason.
Well, they did them back to back and then just released them in 2 parts, right?
Yeah, it was part of the deal that they would have 2. So to begin with, so they're waiting, hoping Netflix will say number 3 and I assume they're waiting on Netflix to look at numbers and such. Um, the one of the actors says that they haven't heard anything. It doesn't, they don't know what's going on. Zach is of course positive, because he always is. Um, and one of the guys that worked on it, let's see here, uh, what is his name? Johnstad, Kurt Johnstad. He was one of the writers. He says that, well, we worked out that we could this would make its way to 6 movies at the most, but we don't, if we're lucky enough to make a third one, So yeah, there's your news so far on that.
Wow. Lisa says that Walmart is full of Rebel Moon action figures, and I have not watched Rebel Moon either because I just heard it was awful.
Yeah,
And
it's literally Star Wars. It's like
right,
there's so
like
much Star
unabashedly,
Wars in it.
It's not literally
Yeah.
Star Wars, though.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I know.
It is actually Star Wars.
Yes.
I
No,
hear,
but
I-
it's not literally Star Wars,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
no, it's ripped off from Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like in the second one, they have laser swords.
Okay.
So I'm looking at these action figures here. The Funko Pop is already on sale from Box Lunch, and so I'm looking at the figures, and one guy looks like a Nazi. One guy looks like Tim the Enchanter. This chick looks like
They leaned heavily into the space Nazis.
old
It was
Republic Jedi. There's some weird steampunky droid dude with a skull face.
Yeah, the first movie was Seven Samurai and A New Hope. You could go on through the entire thing and beat by beat. Okay, this is happening. Up there it is. Here, this is coming. Yep.
Yeah, none of these are really inspiring.
I don't think
me.
Zack Snyder has ever made a movie that I've wanted to watch.
I saw 300. It was entertaining. That's about as far as I go.
Weird.
I've seen other stuff he's made. Not a fan.
Well, he was in an episode of Stephen Colbert. I like that show.
Oh, see, there you go. Yeah.
Return to the world of Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. No
Yeah.
thanks.
He and other filmmakers, it's like he does stuff because he think it'll look cool, which kind of ignores that whole thing that George said, long ago, that a special effect by itself is really a boring thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, take that as you will.
I'm looking at a picture here of a character who is apparently got these laser swords, and they're orange, and it's Nemesis is the character. That's original. Yeah. And she's got her swords out, and I swear it just looks like she's got a couple of big stick ice creams in her hands.
Yes.
Ice cream.
Like, wow.
Yummy.
The Watchmen series that was on Cinemax or Max or whatever they call it was actually better than the Watchmen series that Zach did. So, but it was a sequel to the comic, not a sequel to the movie.
Sean, you want to wrap us up?
Surely. You have been, hopefully, listening to us on sci-fi.radio, assuming that everything has been working out. It's been weird tonight, and the video never rectified on Facebook, at least on our page.
Yeah.
So kind of strange, but it's doing something. You can keep listening to sci-fi.radio. We've got stuff for you 24/7. My show is tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll wrap out the week. If you want to tune in, 9 a.m. Pacific or 12 p.m. Eastern time here in the United States. And then we'll be back again next week to do this. If you've been watching us on YouTube or on the Facebook that is working, or on Twitch, thank you for doing that. And if there's a way to like and that kind of thing, please do that, because that lets us know that you were there. And honestly, that's the super cool part. Big thanks to Kit for putting our document together. We're always appreciative of that, and that we don't have to do it. So we're always very grateful. And then, other than that, we'll be back next week. Fingers crossed.
I'm Colleen Kaylee Crosby.
This is Jeff Soledado.
I am Sean Obi-Shawn Crosby. As always,
May the
May the
force
force
be
be
with
with
you.
you. Let's see, for you television people.
Television?
Television,
guess so.
video. Video, well, whatever.
Hello in TV land.
It's, you know, gosh, I can't find
The off button?
the credits. I always put the
There it
there it
is.
is. Jeepers. I didn't find the right credits. Ugh. It's just one of those nights, man. Bye, video people. We will see you later.